Well. Morning, Pipers. Your old boy Sasquatch Piper here. And it's taking us a minute to get set up. I know we're supposed to do that before we start recording, but I just had the Golden Arches for breakfast. Little sugar-free vanilla thingamajigger. And some bacon, egg stuff, hash brown, you know, the typical. Anyhow, let's get the party started. Part 2. Well, really, this should have been part 1, but I already had all the other nonsense recorded. So part 1 of part 2 of part 1. So, deer season. The other video, you may not have watched it super long. We'll try to keep this one short, and I'll just tell you the story. But if I can't keep my pipe lit, I'm not saying anything. A little tamp action. A little Zippo action. And it's the usual. Whew. Brown slice twist. My go-to. Hurry up and stuff a pipe and smoke it. The OMS poker. We haven't seen a lot of that lately. However, now we knew it was ending up winding down deer season. And listen, this is how it goes now. So we took Thursday, Friday off, so we had a 4-day weekend the last weekend. We were pretty sure we'd get a buck. We were over the big bucks already now because they were gone. I talked to somebody, there was a drop time buck that I really wanted. Somebody said they saw it and almost hit it driving down the road near where my stand is. So, with that said, so Wednesday night we head straight after work, straight out, set up the stand, grab the camera, the SD card out of the game cam, and check the pics. Well, come to find out, I didn't have my card reader for my phone. So I was sitting there and I wasn't exactly sure. Bucks were coming in at different time, weird time. So I was like, whatever. I didn't stay too long. Watched a few deer come and go. A little fork torn and some does and some fawns. And I decided to leave so I could look at my camera and get some, an idea of what's going on better, more recent. And there you have it. So, we get home, we see 2 bucks that we would take. One bigger than the other. Well, I didn't get that bigger one, but that's okay. I didn't even see him. I knew it's the end, so I knew it's time to make a decision. So we're sitting up in the stand, right? Sun setting. It's getting dim. I got does and fawns, and that little fork torn's back at the stand. Well, the next morning I went back and all I got was the fork torn. But that evening I went back and I knew I was going to get some action. So we got that fork torn and some does and fawns, and I see, and now it's pretty dim out, I hear something, whatever. And then I see the does and fawns all start acting weird. And I thought, ooh, this is it. This is it. The dynamics changed. A buck came in, I guess a mature buck, bigger than the other bucks. Comes walking in, and, because I knew something was going on, I'm set up, I'm ready. As soon as I see him, I see the 3 points, and I know it's one of the two. It's pretty dim outside at this point. It's legal shooting light, mind you, but dim enough to where I'm not 100% which of the two bucks it is. But I know it's one of them. I thought it was the bigger one, but it just turned out that the one I got was a little bigger than he looked in the pictures. He looked real spindly in the pictures. So I see that, I draw, nothing's looking at me, and I don't have a shot. And then he turns around, and I have what looks like a great broadside shot. Well, I take it, and boom, and he bucks, and he takes off running. Deer go everywhere, and through the trees and everything. I think I seen which way he went. So now I sit there for a few minutes. I climb down. It's getting darker fast. Gather my thoughts, grab the SD card, switch it in the camera, text my buddy, hey, come out and are you available for a buck extraction? He gives me a call and he says, do you have? I said, no, I don't have him, but I seen which way he went. He comes out, I meet him at the truck, we walk in. And that's that. No. I don't know. I'm guessing by now it's got to be 8:30-ish by the time he gets there and we go back in and start looking. And we look for hours. We're following little tiny traces of blood. Now I'm not feeling too good about my shot. But everything felt and looked good. And I could see the arrow sticking out of him, which was not a good sign. I'd rather it have passed through. So assuming it hit the shoulder on the other side and stopped. So we're looking for a few hours out there, following sign, then we kind of just lose. Well, just give this up for now. We lose sign, and I said, well, let's just call it, I'll come back in the morning. So 5:30, I kind of wake up and I'm thinking, man, this is too early. I just want to go find my buck. I don't really care about hunting, so I'm laying nodding in and out. And I finally get out of there and get out there about 7:30 in the morning, the next morning after I shot the buck. I get on the trail. I tagged it with some ribbons and whatnot. We might have an emergency roadside pooping with Squatch right now. Anyhow, back to the story. So I get to the end of the trail. I'm looking. I find a footprint. I find a little blood again. I tag him, So I spend hours. Now I find a little piece of what looks like, or a big piece of what looks like deer fat with blood on it. I'm like, oh, this can't be good. So I find that. Then I keep finding the same thing. I'm not seeing blood because it had rained. So what little bit of blood I was finding was even harder to find because of the rain. So I get to the end of the trail at this point, what I'm calling the end of the trail, and it goes into some thick stuff, and there's a bunch of deer or elk beds. I think they're elk beds everywhere, and I'm seeing some tracks. It looks like it was him going through there, but I'm not seeing any more of that. Turns out, some of the guts, I actually got a gut shot, unfortunately. And I'm searching around in the area, and the signs just disappear, and now there's fallen trees everywhere. There's a thicket of trees. It's a pain in the butt. I walk out one way. I thought, well, there's some tracks here. It could possibly be him have come through here. I walk out there, look around, whatever. I go back, start over, go a different direction, do the same thing. And I'm pretty far out, from where I'd shot him already. Over 520 yards. So I do the same thing, go in different directions, and something just gave me the idea that he turned somewhere. I don't even remember what made me think that. And then I start walking that way, and I see or something kind of round, unnatural looking, light tan looking in the sun. And I'm like, no way. Nah, that doesn't look like a deer laying. It's not right, whatever it is. Let's go look at it. So we start walking over there. We get closer. It's my buck. Buck down. He, turns out the shot was right where I thought, but he was quartering towards me so much that I didn't notice it. So my arrow went in, got a lung in the front, and then went back and hit some guts. Okay, no big deal. We can wash the meat off and all that. Might lose a little bit. So now I get the buddy back out there, meet him at the truck because I had to get my pack and get rid of my bow and get ready. And, at this point, it's like 1:30, I think. So it 7:30, 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, 1. So like I was out there. So it took me 6 hours to find them, plus the couple hour, 2-3 hours the night before, taking off of where we left off there. So we cut him up and we pack him out. And we packed him out 1,000 yards. He ran dead deer running for, I tracked it on my GPS thing on my phone, my Onyx Maps, and he ran 528 yards before he collapsed. And you could tell he ran the whole way until the very end. And then he just walked out into a bunch of thick fallen stuff and just dumped into the fallen trees, So I don't even know. It was maybe one of the bigger deer I've gotten, for sure. Not the biggest deer I was looking for, but you know what? None of that really mattered, because from hunt to harvest to truck, I got to spend some quality time with the homie, that good friend for many years. And I just, I'm going to thank him right here. Thanks for helping me out, bro. I helped him out too a little bit. Made sure he got a little meat out of it. We haven't, he's a dad. I work a lot. We don't get to spend the time together we'd like to, and it was just a good time. And more than anything, that was probably the best part of it, out there spending some time with a good friend. And I really enjoyed that, because we don't get to spend that time together that we used to. We're old folk now. We got stuff going on, but we're there, and that's what counts. So the buck is a 3x4 technically, but the 4 is broken off. Decent sized, mature buck, not old though. I just don't, like I said, I don't care to take the young ones anymore. The old sensitive heart of mine, I guess now. But there you have it, the short version that's not so short. And I got my buck, dropped it off to get it cut up and packed up for me, and probably be picking it up on the way home and having deer steaks for dinner, wouldn't you know. Anyways, thanks for everybody's patience and still watching and commenting and supporting me through all that. I know that last video's long, this one's long again, and I just appreciate the fact that everybody stuck around, and now I should be back on track and get back on them comments and get back to watching some videos, so I'm not out in the woods and at work constantly, you know, checking cameras, sitting in stands, hiking around, driving around, whatever. We're back! You! Sasquatch Piper out.